Rightio, so this is, I believe, the finished product of the Speed Quad. It's a lot dodgier than I actually originally planned and envisioned, I guess, but that often happens with projects, for me at least. Kind of imagine something really grand and then it ends up turning out not as good as you thought. But it's okay. Partly because I lost a little bit of motivation because I realised that carbon tubes are going to work better, and I've got this kind of 3D printed aerofoil design happening with that and motor mount. So basically I kind of got a bit excited about version 2 and kind of cared a little bit less about version 1. But this is going to be really good just to kind of, I don't know, I guess proof of concept kind of thing. You know, make sure I can actually measure the airspeed, not the airspeed, I don't know, whatever you call it, the GPS speed. So we've got the RCX 2208 2000 kV motors. These are 5.3 props, but obviously I'm going to be using 6-inch. I'm going to try a few different props. For the ESCs, I've got the XM30s. That's what I've gone with. They can supply the juice, and they make a fair bit of thrust compared to many other ESCs. And they can do high RPMs, so I think they're pretty good for the task. When I was hot gluing this GPS in, this buckled a little bit, so that's a little bit disappointing. Could redo this because it's just a bottle, but I'm just going to test it like this, just because I want to see if it's going to work. It's got the camera in there. I ended up cutting a hole instead of having it through the window, just because it this material kind of made it a little bit foggy, so I decided I'd just cut a hole. It's reasonably flush anyway, so that should be fine. So there's a hole in the back, in the middle of these plates, I guess. So there's some wires coming through there. It's not entirely neat how the ESC wires just come straight out to the back, because I did have to cut out some sections here to actually allow that. But again, it doesn't matter. In fact, this is going to be taped on for the flights. I'll just put some tape around the bottom and maybe around the top just to keep that on. And what else? So yeah, I've got pretty much all the electronics up here, like the flight controller and the receivers there. I've got a filter, as in like a noise filter type thing, like an LC filter. It's actually really good. I got it from Banggood, and it's got like a massive capacitor. It's got the inductor. It's got like a diode and like a FET. It's like an actual decent filter design. I think it's going to work well. And I've actually filtered out the 5-volt regulator as well. So because I'm powering the camera from 5 volts, so in like the flight controller is also getting filtered. Yeah, probably doesn't need it, but why not? Little bit messy with the connections from the ESCs here, just because I already had this soldered up, and it was going to be a pain to actually solder the headers on there. So I kind of made it like a breakout header, because I wanted just to be able to plug these in, because the plan is to actually move all this gear onto the other frame, obviously the version 2 frame. So I didn't want to like design everything and cut all the wires around this particular frame, because I knew I'd have to redo it, which includes the motor wires, because yeah, so they're full length still. So I'll probably run them through the tubes, or I'm not really sure. So I've got the video transmitter down the bottom just because it fits there. Don't know how we'll go with it transmitting like this with the carbon there, but we'll see. I mean, worst case, I can move this along and have like that dangling out the bottom. That'll be alright. So yeah, I guess I plan to fly this weekend. I just quickly hovered this in the lounge room, and it flies really funny. I think it's because of the pendulum kind of effect, like all the weight is below the props. I bumped up the PIDs a lot, which I think fixed that. I'm not sure if having like bigger props on it would help that as well. I'm not really sure. But either way, I'll just see how it flies on the weekend. It mainly just needs to go fast, doesn't need to feel good in the air really. Rightio, so I've had a fly today of this speed quad. As you can kind of see, I had a few crashes as well. So I started off with the 50-30 props. They didn't last long at all. So I ended up putting these Dow 50-45 props on, and you can see they're bent. So yeah, a lot of crashes today, not a lot of flying, including one big crash that like bent the whole kind of plate, all these plates that way. The aluminium bracket got bent and broke some standoffs. So yeah, that wasn't great. Basically, I believe what happened was the RC control cut out because this is one of the antennas and that's one of the other antennas. Obviously with the case on, they kind of pushed in there, in with the electronics, and then the carbon fiber frames probably blocking the signal a little bit. So I think I just lost control because of that. So I guess much like all my other quads, I probably need to put on pigtails or something, maybe coming at the back. That would probably be the smart thing to do there. So yeah, I got a couple of flights in. First flight, I had terrible video reception because the VTX was further up and this was inside the carbon. So I moved that down, having that poking out the end. So that cleared that up a little bit. But yeah, not a terrible success really at this point. I didn't even get to try any decent props, and obviously I'm still on 4-cell. So, but I did notice the GPS was actually reading lower than I thought it would. Like, I guess I saw 20 kilometers an hour max, and I think that's because it probably averages over a fair time, and I was only doing reasonably short runs across the oval, so I probably need to actually go a fair distance out, then get a big run up back to get a decent speed reading on the GPS, I'm guessing. The other thing is, it was pretty hard to actually launch. I made up this kind of launch pad out of some MDF, so that kind of just sat on there like that, and yeah, a couple of failed launches at the start, and obviously landing is quite difficult as well. You just got to kind of hover and then drop it, which is not really ideal. And I guess the whole experience today has kind of made me think maybe I want to make slightly more conventional quad, in the sense like I want to be able to land and take off. Maybe sacrifice some aerodynamics a little bit for my version 2. Obviously I've still got this tube kind of plan happening, so I'll make a video of my version 2 quad. I'm not sure if I'll get this particular version up and running again. Kind of keen just to scrap this idea and go ahead with version 2, seeing as like it's got flat arms anyway, and yeah, I think I could do better basically. So yeah, I'll show you some videos of the failed launches now, and then I'll show you some footage of basically the last run that I had before it crashed. Something else I'll note is the tune was terrible. When I was flooring it, it would get oscillations, so yeah, not a completely successful day, but that's alright. Learned a few things, so yeah. Thanks for watching, guys.